A lot of beginning website creators focus on the content that goes on the page itself. However, the structure and order of pages is incredibly important, and it conveys to your audience what your sort of argument or point is and how you're going to support it. Structuring your website successfully requires it making sense both across and down. By across, I mean that the website structure, as expressed in the top navigational bar, makes sense read left to right. For example, if I was creating an e-portfolio about myself and all I had up there was home, about me, contact, there's really nothing in there that gives anyone a sense of who I am or why they should investigate this website. Everything is so generic. It's really a missed opportunity to start communicating what I think is important about me. Similarly, people will look at the order of elements and read into it deeply. If I was creating an e-portfolio about myself and the navigation at the top said home, horse grooming, equestrian riding, veterinary training, teaching, research, contact, well, somebody would logically assume that my primary interests are in the equestrian sciences and perhaps with a secondary interest in becoming a vet. By structuring your website down, I mean that you pay attention to the logical order of elements, subtitles, and headings that occur when one reads down one of your web pages. If it is a very short web page, you might not actually have an issue here, as somebody will read the paragraph, say, in its entirety. However, if you do have multiple elements, multiple sections, perhaps 2 case studies, you'll want to organize them in a way that the sections make sense logically going from top to bottom. Having a structure that makes sense reading down doesn't just occur in the text, however. If you interrupt the text with images, as may be useful when you're trying to break up that wall of text feeling, you can also interrupt the logical progression of something. If I were making, for example, a web page that detailed a group project presentation that I undertook for a marketing course, and I started with an introductory paragraph, then inserted a bunch of stock photos of corporate settings, and then continued many scrolls down with the actual information about the project, I've created an odd logic here. I've separated what should logically come together with a series of more or less random photos. Overall, I know that so many student designers are eager to get their content onto the pages itself. However, it's always best to take a moment before you start putting things on pages to make sure that your structure makes sense both across and down. If you need help structuring a website or like any other feedback on the web design process, you can schedule a consultation in the Digital Act Studio. Happy structuring!